Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, hope you're doing well. Another glorious day here at Barrow Motors, but even the rain can't dampen my spirits because today, you probably figured out by the title, is the day we get to check out our completed VW Phaeton. And I think it looks awesome. I think it actually looks really, really good. So let's have a walk around, look at everything we've done, try and do some comparisons of how it was before and how it is now. And then we'll sit down in the office and we'll talk about how much it's cost and how much I'm hoping to sell it for. Let's have a look. Right, here it is. Hopefully the first thing that jumps out is, look, matching wheels. It hasn't got an odd shaped or sized wheel on that side. Of course, it's got a bit of rain on it now, but we have given it just a light polish all over. We had a couple of new tyres, so we got some Phaeton ultra high performance tyres on the front. Well, in fact, we got one on the front here and one on that corner, so we need to swap them around, but we're not going to do that for the sake of this video. We will get them swapped front to back, but I actually think I quite rate the Phaeton tyres. I don't think they're too bad at all. Trying to remember what's a big difference from last time. Obviously, there was quite a lot of rust bubbling through here. That's all been sorted out. That's been repainted now, so that's looking really good. Obviously, all the wheels have been refurbished. They've been fully blasted back, acid dipped, and re-powder coated. And then I've got some second-hand Phaeton centre caps as well, which look pretty good on there. It's a pretty good colour match, slight difference, but you know, on the whole. And it just finishes off loads better. When they were missing before, it just looked a bit naff, really. Come round the back. I'd still like to get Romas or Jordan to polish up these centre lights here because they're a little bit faded. Got mist on the valet there, but yeah, it still looks pretty damn good. That they could definitely do with a polish up. And there was a little bit of rust on these two doors as well. That's all been painted up now. There's our other Phaeton, like I say, opposite corners. And the other two that we got were Pirello P0s. Would have been nice to put another pair of Pirello P0s in it, but I am trying to watch the pennies. Although it's, you know, an expensive car, well, not an expensive car, you know, a premium car, the expenses can run away and eat into any potential profit. So yeah, they're decent tyres. I quite like them, I rate them. So I thought fronts and backs, Pirelli's on the front or back and Phaeton's on the, whichever, the opposite. Yeah, on a car this old and whatever, what can you do? You can't make it the best in the world for everything. I can't remember if there's too much else going on the outside. Like I said it wanted a good polish, which has had a bit of a light polish all over now. From the side like that, I think that car looks really cool. It's got a real sort of stately limousine look about it. Now that it's all just finished up, it just looks 10 times better. I'm absolutely loving it. I'll tell you what, before we sit in the car, remember our boot was broken and this wouldn't power open? Well, hold the key and there it goes. All working again. I think the guys had to play around. You can see how it's frayed there. I think that's a pretty common fault on these. I'll tell you what, that cable is like stretched so tight. I think it might have just pulled a connection loose or something, so we've sorted that out. Cleaned up the hinges as well. How good do they look? And then press the button. It comes down, the latch pops out, if I can catch that. There it goes. Locks away. And we no longer have a boot open warning light on the dashboard. So yeah, that was an absolute result. And luckily it didn't really cost us anything. It was just a bit of time fiddling around with it. Looking inside, if you can ignore the wet floor mat from where I've been driving it around and putting it here, it's looking really nice and clean inside now. The guys have done a nice job of cleaning everything up. And got the cup holders back up to the top. They're a bit fiddly and they had something jammed in it. And I'm slightly concerned. I think it might have been a bit of fingernail or something that was stuck in there, but we've got that out now anyway. It's they're back up, and I think that looks really neat when they're back up like that. Nice and clean in the back as well. Bonnet bay's been given a bit of a spruce over and clean up. I don't think that was too bad in the first place, but You know, plastic's cleaned up, looks nice. I don't like them looking, all the plastics looking too shiny and covered in silicone. Just nice and clean and looking presentable. We do still need to do the service on this when it gets a chance to get in the workshop, which we haven't done, but when we go inside and price that up, I'll at least let you know how much that's going to cost. And it should just be a formality of getting it done. I absolutely love it in here. This is such a nice thing to drive, and the 3-litre TDV6 is really smooth as well. When that fires up, in fact, let me fire that up for you now. It's just, it sounds right as well. It's just smooth, quiet. Absolutely glides along. It's certainly not slow. Can only imagine what a W12 one of these is like. But it's nice that we got no more warning lights on the dashboard for the boot or anything else. I can't remember what else we had on, but there wasn't a huge amount to do with this car, I don't think. It was just a bit of titivating and checking out if we had any service history, which we didn't, but I have found some from Volkswagen. So yeah, everything's working, cleaned up. The car is now listed for sale. The only thing we've got left to do is a service. In fact, it went for an MOT and passed. There might have been a couple of advisories. I can't remember what they are. We'll have a look when we get in the office. We used this to like run across to an MOT. It already had like 11 months MOT on it, if you remember. And then we used it to run across to pick up another car and left this there in the meantime while we were waiting for the alloy wheel refurbishment people to open up again. And they MOT'd it the next day. They're like, oh, they've left a car here, we'll MOT it. So it's now got 12 months MOT. So at least it didn't fail. That would have been really upsetting. It did pass, a couple of advisories, nothing too major, I don't think, but we'll have a look when we get in the office. But yeah, I'm super pleased with this. I'm so glad I've bought and owned one, and I actually really enjoy driving it. But financially, I don't know how well I will be doing out of this deal. Let's jump in the office, we'll look at all the figures, and then we'll kind of know how we've done. Okay, so before we get into the figures, I did say that I'd got some service history for this now. Just put a phone call into our local Volkswagen dealership. Spoke to Jody, it's a chap, at Marshall's Volkswagen in Bridgewater, and he's very kindly sent me across this history here. So we've got an oil change service at 4,000, oil change service at 19, basically 20,000 there. Lots of inspections, etc. Next service related, 29 was an interval inspection, but not service. Inspection service, 39,500. Oil change service at 50,000. Inspection service at 59,617. Inspection service at 69. Inspection service at 80,000. And oil change service at 86,000. That was the last one in about June 2016. So that's the last we got. And of course, we're going to do a new one now. So that will be all the history it's got. But it's nice to have, what was that, 8 or 9 services in the record that we wouldn't have had otherwise. So thank you to Marshall's Volkswagen of Bridgewater. Right then, to the figures. Our Phaeton, we bought for £1,743. Next most expensive was the wheels. So let's put wheels. They were £300. I think it was £75 each to have them powder coated. Second to that was paintwork, which was £220. Then we have tyres. They were £87.95 each. Most of these prices that I state are going to be plus VAT, but of course, being a VAT registered business, we claim that back anyway. So it would be more expensive if you were doing this as a kind of side hobby, because you would have to swallow the VAT and you wouldn't be able to get it back when you charge out on your used non-VAT car. So take that into consideration when you're looking at these prices. So the tyres came to £175.90 for the pair. Would have been slightly more, I guess, by the time we fitted them and put some wheel weights, etc. on, but let's just call it that. And then we had centre caps. They were £45 from eBay. We had the MOT that we didn't really need, but we've still had to pay for that. So that was £45. Service parts are going to cost me £65.84. That's for an oil filter, an air filter. Pollen filter was expensive to us at about 30 quid, maybe just a little bit under, plus VAT. But apparently it's because it's got two, so we're going to have to change 2 pollen filters in there. Plus the oil, which it takes 8.3 litres of oil, which I probably underpriced it, to be honest, because yeah, our oil probably costs us about £2 a litre, £2.50 a litre maybe, plus VAT. I'll put it down at £2 a litre just to make the calculation easy. So it's about 17 quid's worth of oil. Then the last thing is I'm going to put down £10 for the valet, which really just includes the costs for putting the new number plates on, because they cost me about 4 quid each. So we put a new set on. That brings our total to £2,304.74. I've currently got this listed for 4,495, but it seems like the value of them's tanked a little bit since I first bought this car, however long ago it was, a few weeks ago. And I think it was valued around about 4.25 to 4.5, but it's now probably near about 4,000. So let's assume we do sell this for 4,000, or let's say 3,995. That is going to mean a gross profit of £1,690.26. So not too bad at all. Not forgetting, I haven't taken in any VAT into account there, haven't taken any labour into account, which I will have had to have paid for. Swings and roundabouts, I guess. I'm kind of doing this so that you could figure out, if you were doing this as a hobby, doing it yourself, there wouldn't be any labour charges, of course, but there would be VAT charges. So maybe I should include the labour. Exactly how much labour we would have had involved in that service. Let's say if they're doing a proper inspection service, a couple of hours, tyres, half an hour, paint, wheels don't come into it, valet, well, there's a good few hours on that. So yeah, maybe you added another couple hundred quid on or something. But still, we've had a decent car out of it, I think. It's a nice car to have. I'm not too worried about warranting it. On the whole, I'm happy with my purchase. It's been quite an easy little restoration. It's an interesting car to have in stock, and I really enjoy driving it, so there's no harm done there. And hopefully we've got some decent content out of it that you have enjoyed. So if you have enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you haven't seen the original video, you've done this the wrong way around. I'll put a link here. Make sure you check out all the other videos. Give it a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new here. If you're not, thank you for continuing to watch. And I will see you next time.